Right guys, it is absolutely time to get excited because today we are looking at the new meta, which is interesting. First of all, let's actually examine the word meta. Most effective tactics available. That's what meta means. So, strikers for a start. Negative Ghost Rider. Originally I thought it potentially could have use in PvP. I don't know about other servers, but definitely in the European server, the non-striker players are actively going around and hunting the striker players to teach them how bad strikers actually is, which is quite funny. Ended up doing a little bit of Dark Zone, a lot of Dark Zone yesterday, trying to just finish off my collection by getting a Devil's Due because it was Cheska. And yeah, ended up talking to pretty much all of them, and strikers is not worthwhile really in a PvP capacity. So everyone telling you that strikers is meta for PvP is either an idiot or they don't know what they're talking about. So they're well, you're an idiot both ways really, aren't you? In open world, it doesn't really seem to be too good. In some of the heavier, more clunky world events, elite resource convoy, because there's a lot of enemies. Basically anything where there's a large group or burst of enemies in order for you to keep your stacks up and going, it can be worthwhile. It seems pretty good in 4-man Summit due to the amount of health and spawns that happen in Summit. But overall, it's a bit meh. Now, if you absolutely insist on using strikers, just to help you out, the best two builds that the little group of weirdos I run with could figure out is, this is probably one of the best setups you could run: Chatterbox with Cody's Mask, 4-piece strikers, and then Fox's Prayer. Using an SMG actually works very well because where you compromise a lot in crit damage to make strikers work, SMGs with their innate crit chance does actually do pretty well. The fact also that you don't have to reload, and then utilizing Gunner for the armor regen, the increase in fire rate, etc, 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 this does actually shred as long as you can get your stacks up quick and easy. If you don't get your stacks up quick and easy, you are dead and a detriment to your team. It's almost like you need to be a crazy berserker fool and run in first before everyone else. The second build is running Rail Splitter, but this time we're using a Cheska backpack with Vigilance, and we've swapped out Fox's Prayer for Striker Knees because we want that 4-piece striker. Essentially what you should be getting from this is you either need to use the chest or the chest and backpack. For best results, chest and backpack, it's a larger multiplier. However, Rail Splitter is actually kind of key here due to the accuracy of the weapon. You are able to get your stacks up pretty damn effectively. Both of these builds come from Rise of Brutality. You should definitely go find his Twitch and then follow him. But yeah, strikers, it's fun, it's a bit of a laugh, it's kind of interesting, but it certainly is not the new meta. It's, depending on the variety of striker setup you've got, it's between 12 and 8% below the current meta. There are other off-meta builds that actively do more than strikers. Like if meta is S tier, there's the off-meta A tier. Strikers like a solid B+, essentially. I'm not saying it's bad, it is pretty good. The one good thing I do like about strikers, if people are trying to get into raids or the higher end content, start even like developing into heroic or heroic with directives, it does make very, very easy DPS build to farm. So you haven't really got to sit there and worry, oh, I've got to get the perfect rolls on my 3-piece Providence, or I don't like Glass Cannon or Vigilance and trying to get God rolls. You can literally just put on 4-piece strikers, whack some crit damage on, make sure you've got a healthy amount of weapon damage, and a decent primary weapon and you're away. It works. That's probably the best thing about strikers at the moment. It is a very, very easy and simple setup for anyone to do. So if you're watching this and you're lower level, or you want to start doing raids but you don't know how to farm or what to get with a DPS build because you've been told you need a DPS build, just go 4P strikers for now. Probably will get away with that. I believe that obviously there's going to be some elitist groups that will be like, no, you need this exact meta build, but tell them to come talk to me and I'll shove math in their face, because that's what I do. I'm the math guy, apparently, according to my clan. Anyway, let's actually get down to the actual purpose of this video. We're about 6 minutes in and I've not even spoken about what the point of this video is. Chill out, that mask. So many people are like absolutely in love with this because apparently it's amazing, it's OP, it's terrible. Well, at best it's a meme, at worst it's a waste of time. There are potentially 2 uses for it. That's it, 2. In a raid, again, and you'll have 3 people that are actively able to keep all 3 Coyotes buffs up. The short, medium and long range buffs, just to help you max out your crit chance and crit damage. And you've built weirdly purely into crit damage, and you've got 3 crit damage stacks on your chill out mask. So this would put you roughly, depending on how you set yourself up, about 213% critical hit damage. I would now like to introduce you to something called diminishing returns, which basically means the more you have of something, the less effective it actually becomes. See, the game actually has like a max cap on how much damage you are able to effectively do. For crit damage, this comes into play at about 183.6% critical hit damage. In order to actually make use of 213% critical hit damage, you actually want to be lying around 350% critical hit damage. It's comical, really. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh yeah, check out my awesome critical hit damage, it's like 200 plus. It's probably more like 190, and that's being generous. So yeah, you're not actually getting that much from it. Punch Drunk remains probably one of the most overpowered masks in the game. Especially if you're using Dodge City Holster. If you are a Dodge City Holster fan, Punch Drunk is basically the way to go. Versus Chungers, Heavies, Doggos, and some raid bosses as well. From a technical standpoint, Hollow Man is probably the most powerful mask in the game. Other than that, you are looking at Coyotes. Even having a Walker Harris mask with crit chance, crit damage on it, because of that 5% increase in weapon damage that comes with the set bonus, because you don't get a set bonus with Chill Out, where it's increasing your baseline, that therefore means that you have a higher number for your crit damage to go on top of. So you are actually getting more with a Walker Harris mask just by having another 5% weapon damage. This mask has given me such a headache over these past 3 days, which is why I've not uploaded a video, because I've been sat there with about 90 plus friggin' spreadsheets trying to figure out the exact workings of this mask. The problem is it's not really in any database yet, so I can't really use a build calculator for it. So I've actually had to sit there with an actual calculator, or my phone really, and work out the base DPS of this mask and how it is effective. The only true purpose where it is actually useful would be in like a Hasbro tank for a very specific niche role in Iron Horse Raid, where you do the diagnostics, and that's if you are unable to get the correct gear pieces to run the Hasbro tank. It is a backup piece. It doesn't actually give you anything extra or anything worthwhile. It's just a backup piece for you to be able to customize, provided you got the one right roll on it. Now again, I am not saying do not use this mask. Everyone has their own want and wills in the game and the way in which they play. That is absolutely fine. Just do not think that this mask is giving you anything special, because if anything, you're the one handicapping yourself. If you're playing in solo especially, coyotes will just flat out, outright outperform it. Like you can't argue it. Like if you do, then there's something possibly wrong with you. Coyotes just offers you so much more. Walker Harris outperforms it. Punch Drunk with Dodge City Holster makes it a literal joke. Like there's literally no point in even running it. If you're running Dodge City Holster, then you are literally wasting your time. Due to the increase in pistol damage and then the 20% headshot on top of it, it flat out outperforms it. And then like Hollow Man is more powerful. Like there's so many better options. It's really not as good as people seem to think it is. Anyway, I'm gonna leave my ramblings there. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's non-conducive to the staying alive. Staying alive is meta.